You lost the weight, you made the changes, you look at your body, you look at the numbers on the scale, the body count, and you should feel different, but you don't. Why? Well, the way you look at and internalize your appearance is a very complex, complicated thing for each of us, and it's very nuanced. But basically, how we see ourselves on the outside largely determines how we feel about ourselves on the inside. We feel about ourselves on the inside largely determines what we see on the outside. Now, at the very simple, straightforward, logical, even though this is a very, 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 very emotional process, we're going to look at it logically first. You have had a systematic deconstruction of how you have viewed yourself over the years and decades. Some of this was put on you by industries that benefit from you not feeling good about who and what you see in the mirror. A lot of this was put on you by people that were well intentioned, but would say things like, "Oh, yeah, you if you just lost the weight, you'd be handsome, you'd be beautiful." A collection of comments, and some people were just downright mean. And then you've internalized things and you've chosen and reinforced a belief about yourself and how you look and how that makes you feel about yourself and how you feel about yourself and how that plays into how you see your appearance. So tearing yourself down and calling it deconstruction is exactly what we're going to do the opposite of. We're going to reconstruct. We're going to rebuild systematically. Now, you're not going to 100% be able to get rid of how you have felt about yourself to this point. Those thoughts will creep in. The opportunity here is to create an alternate, updated way of looking at yourself so that when those old thoughts pull at you, you're able to recognize it and try to redirect into this new way of looking at yourself as best you can. So I think this again, and I said rebuilding instead of fixing how you see yourself. You're choosing to literally look at this way that you've looked at yourself to this point, and you're putting this to the side. You are starting to do something completely different. You're not less than. You're not devalued as a person because of how you've seen yourself to this point. And when you look at it this way, again, it's all about how you choose to see what you see on the outside and what you choose to believe about yourself on the inside. Now, this is all still the logical part, okay? And because when we talk about like body standards, and we'll talk a lot about this, these were largely created in boardrooms by companies to make you feel some kind of way, make you feel like you're behind, make you feel like you're not enough, in hopes of getting you to go after some aspirational look and buy stuff. I basically, with everything with the content you see and your level of fitness as a whole, I want you to appreciate who you see in the mirror, how you see yourself. Appreciate who and what you see. Build yourself up. Feel empowered. So we're going to do a lot of the same stuff that the industries and the companies have done, but we're going to do it to move you in the complete opposite direction. So you're just updating how you see yourself. Now, what I want you to start doing, and again, this takes intention and this takes practice, is logically, if what you've done is you've looked at one thing when you look in the mirror and it starts this cascading event of tearing yourself down, You're going to look at one thing in the mirror and you're going to start building yourself up. Now, it's going to take practice because this, again, isn't going to be logical. You're going to have a lot of emotions. You're going to have a lot of critical thoughts. You're going to have a lot of scathing opinions of yourself that you're going to hear in your head in your own voice that weren't really even put there by you initially, but you've probably run with them, right? So you have to give yourself permission to actually untangle this stuff and try to build this new pathway, because that old one is going to be pulling back at you. Now, as I say in so much of the content, if you're working with a therapist and have a productive working relationship with a therapist where you can open up to them, they can call you out on things in a disarming way, and you guys can look at stuff, come up with strategies for you to work through this stuff and to improve stuff in between sessions in your life. If you have a productive working relationship with a therapist, it's going to help. If you don't have a productive work, if you're not working with a therapist right now for a multitude of reasons, this is just know that this stuff will help you improve how you see yourself. Working with a therapist, the right therapist for you, because I don't think you have like a therapist soulmate. I think there's multiple therapists that could be the right fit for you. It's going to really help. Now, when I do what's called the Inside Out Challenge. And the Inside Out Challenge is when you stand in front of a mirror and you pick something out that you like about yourself. Maybe one thing. Now, even when you start building yourself up, I like to tell people don't do this for longer than a minute at a time. Now, if you want to do it multiple times a day, then stand in front of a mirror and just build yourself up. Do it as often as you need it. It actually becomes a really good exercise when you're feeling down about yourself, because you're redirecting that thought process. When those old critical thoughts come in, you now have something that you can do to like take the thoughts and move them in a new direction. You start seeing, like, you start appreciating who and what you see in the mirror. You're gonna have to give yourself time with this, and I'll tell you, with the mirror exercise, with the Inside Out Challenge, at first you're probably gonna feel like you don't believe it until it starts to click. Now you can choose, because again, I've said this about, we choose how we see ourselves, both our reflection and internalizing who we are. We choose it, and then we can reinforce that belief. And most of the time when we talk about reinforcing beliefs, we all reinforce things, beliefs that we have about ourselves, but it's usually the negative stuff that's loudest. See, this is why I can't do this. See, here's another example of why I can't be trusted to do this. But we don't use that reinforcement for the positive stuff. With the positive stuff, we like kind of do the stuff and hope that eventually it's going to click, but we got to decide that we're going in that direction. We have to decide that we've made this choice, that this is how we're going to see ourselves. You can absolutely do it. You just have to, you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself grace. Lead with kindness and compassion with yourself. It really will help. So that is what I have for you. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're brand new, welcome. If you like what you're hearing, please go ahead and subscribe. Once you've done that, please rate and review the podcast. That helps get the message out. What also helps get the message out is if you share this episode with somebody that you think would really like to hear it or would benefit from hearing it. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you like what you're watching, go ahead and subscribe, and then share this video with somebody that you think would like to see it. YouTube's also going to recommend a video here that they think you're going to want to watch. Go ahead and watch it if you want, but I will tell you, don't spend too much of your day going down rabbit holes. Use this stuff, apply it in your day-to-day life. I've got all the links for Your Level Fitness in the show notes as well. So, and again, with all this stuff, when it comes to body image, lead with kindness and compassion towards yourself. It's a process, but I will tell you, when you start to make leeway on this, you will feel so much better about yourself. It will literally be like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. This will click. You are capable of doing this. You will get there. You seriously will. If you put a honest effort in on this, you will absolutely see improvement. It will take time, but you have everything inside you that you need. So that is what I have for you today. Thank you as always for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon.